welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am discussing / reviewing the After movie. Before we get into the video, I do want to say that I'm a fan of the books. I was / am really excited for the movie. I'm going to be reviewing this movie as a fan and not like a super critical review. I'm not a professional at reviews. And this is just like my opinion, how I feel about the movie, what I liked, what I didn't like, just all of my opinions. This is just a fan reviewing an adaptation. I will also put timestamps down below for when I talk about spoiler stuff. I'm gonna first do a very like spoiler-free overall summary, like my thoughts, my feelings. Then I'm gonna get into more spoilery stuff. And then I'll have like another non-spoiler section again. So just check the timestamps down below. That way you don't get spoiled. I also do want to say that in the comments, try not to spoil other people on things from the movie. So if you're going to like talk about something super in detail, like maybe put spoilers ahead or like something like that. Just because I don't, as much as I want to have a conversation about the movie on here, I also don't necessarily want to spoil people just in case. I also do have a full after playlist where I talk about the entire adaptation, like all of the casting, all of the news, everything like that. I do have some trailer reactions, which I will also link that playlist down below so you can go check that out. Now onto the actual review. So I reread actually the entire series before I went to go see the movie. I initially was just going to reread the first book, but I got sucked back in so much that I literally binged the entire series in 4 days. And you know that those books are thick books, so I don't know how I did that. Anyways, so I did reread the book, so this is going to be kind of me comparing the book and the movie, but also just how I feel about the movie by itself. So this is going to be the spoiler-free section, where I just like overall talk about the movie. My overall thoughts. I liked it. It wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be, if that makes sense. Like, I know so many people saw it in Europe a lot earlier. I know that there were some early US screenings, and I saw it Friday, which is yesterday, today for me. And so I know a lot of people had already seen it on Thursday and Wednesday. And so a lot of people were saying like, oh, it's bad, like I didn't like it, or like it was, you know, wasn't that great, yada, yada, yada. And so I was so nervous to watch the movie. Like, I was so scared because I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna hate it, blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't as bad as people were saying it was. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like I'm pretty easy when it comes to like adaptations. Like, I let go of things pretty easily, so for me it wasn't, I didn't need them to include every single thing or like every little detail. It was good, it wasn't amazing. It definitely lacked in some things, but it made up for it in other ways. If I were to rate it on 5 stars, I would probably either give it like a 3.5, 4. Like, I liked it, I'll probably love it more when I see it a second time. I don't know if I'm gonna go see it again. I just don't know if I'll be able to, but I feel like if I see it again, I'll probably like it more. I think the big issue is like we didn't really know what to expect exactly because we've heard so many things from when they were filming and then when they were doing press, but like we still fully didn't grasp what was actually going to be in the movie and what wasn't. I think my problem with the movie in general is the pacing, and some things were really fast-paced, other things were really slow. Like, it couldn't make up its mind in the way that it wanted to go. Did it want to go like really slow? Did it want to go really fast? Like, it just felt like there were some scenes that were just like really slow, and then there were some scenes where it's like, okay, here's all the story, and then here's like some really cool artsy shots. Yeah, so my problem was the pacing and just the way that they did that. Like, it just felt off. Like, it felt like some things were rushed, some things weren't, and it was like the wrong things were rushed. And, you know, like, I don't know how to explain how I feel about the way that they wrote it, I guess. And it also just felt confusing at times. Like, I feel like if people didn't read the book and just saw the movie, I don't think some things would be as clear to them as someone who has read the books. I'm gonna get on to Hero and Joe. So I actually loved them. Like, I knew I would love Joe from the beginning. I thought that she obviously looks more like Tessa, the way that she's described in the books. And yeah, she was fantastic. She definitely made the movie for me. She was just really great. She portrayed Tessa in the like most realist way. Like she to me was just Tessa. Hero, obviously I was very hesitant about. You guys know that. I've talked about it in the trailer reactions before, how I didn't really get the vibe of Hardin from him, but I definitely warmed up to him in the movie. And I knew that would happen. Like I knew from the trailer it was just cut weird and like things were done odd with like the way that he would say things. But in the movie, he definitely portrayed Hardin really well with what he was given. But yeah, I thought they were great in general. Solid performances, you know, not amazing acting, but definitely great. I loved the entire cast. I thought they were great. All of the actors that they picked were terrific. I was very hesitant about some of the other actors, but in the end, they were all really good. The soundtrack in the movie was pretty good. I loved some of the songs that they had. I definitely love how they had the fray playing in the background, because if you know, that's a big part in the books. Not a big part, but it's ties in with the books a little bit. Yeah, I know the soundtrack is available on Spotify. I don't have Spotify, so I didn't listen to the soundtrack prior. So I just kind of went into the movie listening to what was playing on the screen, and I liked all the music that they picked. Really solid. That was great. Yeah, the movie was really cute and sweet, and yeah, there were just some, I guess, darker, grittier things that were missing for me. But overall, I think it was a pretty good adaptation with what they had. I feel like that's what's so difficult about adaptations, is you obviously want to please the fans of the books and who are so passionate about it, but you also want to bring in a new audience, someone who hasn't read the books, who doesn't care to read the books. You want to have like this equal balance, and sometimes that can make us fans feel like we're not being treated the way that we should, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to be like super Debbie Downer about it, because it's not a bad movie. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. I don't know how like regular people will feel about the movie, you know, because I feel like some things didn't make sense. For me, they made sense because I read the books and things just like clicked for me. But I feel like if somebody who hasn't read the books might be confused on a few things. I think that is it for the non-spoilery section. The rest is spoilers. I'm not going to go super in detail about spoilers. I'm just going to talk about certain things that I liked or didn't like, or that I noticed, and stuff like that. So I want to specifically talk about Tessa and Hardin. I feel like they did a really great job with Tessa, and how she stayed pretty much the same as she is in the books. Movie Hardin is so different from book Hardin. I knew that they would soften movie Hardin. They talked about it openly, how he was pretty different from book Hardin. And I knew that going into the movie, but like actually seeing it, I was like, oh my god, he's way too soft. The whole point of the series is how damaged Hardin is, and how he learns to become a better person, and how he develops. And that's the whole point. And to have him not as harsh, like, makes me feel like, what's the point? You know what I mean? But like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to say that. But that's just how I feel. I feel like there were aspects where he could have been harsher to Ken, to his friends, and like that could have been done up like a little bit more, and then I would have been happier. Like I would have been way happier. But the fact that he wasn't even that harsh with Ken was just like mind-blowing to me. Like I didn't feel, like I felt their tension, but it wasn't like their tension, you know what I mean? And I think that's where it lacked for me. I was like, okay, he doesn't agree with his dad, whatever. Like it didn't feel like the level that it should have been. That's the thing that upset me a little bit, just because like I didn't feel like he was that angry. And it also makes me question how they're going to do book 2, book 3, and book 4 into a movie when half of his issues weren't even shown. Like he wasn't jealous at all. Like, and there was no Zed storyline which I understand. They could have teased a little bit of it with like a little flirting, a little bit like, you know, but none of that was there. So that makes me question what they're going to do for the sequel, because Zed plays a huge part in the issues that they have in their relationship. So I'm confused in that. Hiro and Joe definitely had chemistry. Like, I totally felt their chemistry. I did feel it, but I didn't feel the passion. Like, I know it's so different to read a book and read that passion, and seeing it on screen is so different. It didn't seem like they loved each other. Like, I don't get what they loved about each other. For me, it lacked the passion, the fight and like pull, and like I didn't feel that. And so to me, it was just like, oh, they're falling in love and he has like kind of a bad attitude. Like, that's literally how it felt. Like, she's a goody two-shoes, he has a bad attitude, they fall in love. When that's not at all what the books are like. The books are like, he has deep mental issues. And I don't know, it just felt like they softened it way too much. And I knew that they were going to soften it. I don't know what I expected, but I think it just like threw me off, because I was like, whoa, okay, we're gonna go real soft. But yeah, Hiro and Joe had chemistry. I definitely felt it. The sex scenes, I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew that there would be like no nudity or anything like that. I mean, obviously it's PG-13, but like, I just knew they weren't going to take it as far as people wanted, which, like, I get. I feel like maybe they'll take it up a notch in the second book or the second movie. I know a lot of people were disappointed about that. I'm okay with it. I mean, sex scenes, I don't really care how they're done, honestly. So I loved the class argument, though. That was really well done. I loved that. I knew that they were going to change the bet. I knew that. I think I wasn't that upset about the bet or like the scene that obviously she finds out. I didn't get upset because they never fully said I love you in the movie. And that's what bothered me, okay? So I know Hardin kind of tells her, like, he writes it on her back, but she never said it to him, and he never said it back verbally. And that's why the bet to me feels weird, because it was like they never even said I love you, so the bet doesn't even make sense. Okay, she's supposed to fall in love with him, but yeah, she didn't even admit. So like, why is she so heartbroken? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt weird to me. Like, I get why she was so heartbroken, but like, you know what I mean? Without the verbal I love you too, don't say too, because it sounds like you're agreeing with me. We all know that scene. That was not in the movie, whatever. I feel like that was to me it was important anyways. It's a scene that I really remember, and not that I expected it to be in the movie, but I thought we would have gotten like I love yous or something. In the book, he bought an apartment, or like he's renting an apartment, and in the movie they decided, oh, it's his friend's apartment, and like they'll just live in it for a year. What? That apartment is theirs in the entire series. What? Like, I don't get why they decided to do that. I do have to say that they definitely tried to please a younger audience, which I get. I mean, I'm 23. I feel kind of old to be watching this movie, which is why it felt weird for me, I think, because it just, like, there was no swearing, which is so weird. There's no swearing, yet they are drinking and doing drugs. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, Hardin doesn't, like, he whispers the F word and, like, nothing else. I also noticed 2 scenes that were in the trailer that weren't in the movie. So the first one is when Hardin destroys his bedroom with a guitar. That wasn't in the movie. There was a scene where Ken is warning Tessa about Hardin. That's also not in the movie either. And I actually didn't notice those scenes until someone like mentioned it to me, and I was like, you are so right. I didn't see those in the movie. So they might be like on the DVD as like deleted scenes or something like that. I don't know. I also didn't like the way that Tessa met Ken and Karen. Like, meeting them at a wedding. Like, the more I think about it, the more I like get kind of mad how it just like didn't flow that well. Like, I just feel like it was pretty choppy. The pacing was weird. I just feel like some things were not as naturally done as they could have been. The ending, I liked. I liked how they changed the ending just because it was cliffhanger-y, but it also wasn't. So, you know, in the off chance that they don't make a second movie, like, it still ended okay instead of like the other way. Also, I feel like they couldn't have ended it with Zed anyways because he never even played an entire part in her life. So that would have never made sense anyways. So I'm glad that they kind of changed the ending a little bit. It just made more sense. I'm very glad that they obviously used the two like really important quotes. Whatever our souls are made of, mine and his are the same, or hers and his are the same. I always like get that quote mixed up. I loved how they still had that in the movie, and then also, who do you love most in the world? Yeah, I feel like they definitely could have improved on some things and smoothed some things out and just had like better pacing, better flowing introductions of characters. I feel like they just like threw in characters and it was just like we were expected to be like, oh, okay. And it was just kind of like, that's not how it is. I mean, I don't want to seem like I'm so negative about it because I did like it. The book is so massive. Like, I understand you can't fit this entire story in an hour and like 46 minutes, but I feel like you could have done a little bit of a better job with things. I don't know. I think I'm just like so used to Passionflix adaptations where it's literally the book onto a screen. So I'm just, I don't know, I don't want to seem like I hate the movie because I don't. Okay, sorry if I'm at a weird angle. I had to change my memory card. I think they did the best that they could with what they had. Obviously the book is so long, so I get it. I think it honestly was the pacing and the way the story was told. I think it did feel off. And it felt like, yeah, some things were rushed, some things weren't. It just didn't really know what it wanted to do with certain scenes and certain things. I don't mean to be like super negative about this, but if it weren't for Hiro and Joe, I don't think the movie would have been that good. Like, I think if it weren't for the actors that held this story, I think it would have been a bad adaptation. But because they held it together, they held what the script was, it was a decent adaptation. That's really all I can say. Okay, now on to, I guess, more like non-spoilery things. I just realized I mixed After We Fell and After We Collided in the wrong order. So sorry. I'm sure that bothered so many of you. I'm sorry. But if we do get After We Collided into a movie, I read somewhere that Anna will write the script. She will write the screenplay, which I'm very, very curious about because obviously this book is bigger than After, and I'm wondering how it's going to flow with the first movie. For instance, I don't want to compare it to 50 Shades because it has nothing to do, but I remember when they had like the original screenwriter, and then for movie 2 and movie 3 they had a different screenwriter, and still all 3 movies flowed pretty well. So I'm wondering how obviously this, if they do a sequel, it's going to flow with the first movie. I don't know, but I mean, I really hope that we do get a second movie at least. I really do hope so. I just think it will be better. I think they're going to improve on things that people were upset about, and I just think they're going to have more of like feedback. And I just think overall a second movie will be better, but hopefully we get a second movie. And I have no idea when the DVD is going to come out for the movie. I'm assuming August, July, August. We will have a DVD or digital release. And I'm really hoping we get like extra footage, bonus scenes, deleted scenes, whatever. I hope we have like extra stuff, because I know with obviously the 50 Shades movies we had a theater version and then we had like an uncut version which had more scenes than like the theater version. So I'm hoping we get kind of like that too, or just like a lot of deleted scenes. Oh yeah, and I did see Anna's cameo when Tessa was going to Vance Publishing. Loved that cameo. Great. So yes, I think that's it that I wanted to discuss. I know this review seems kind of negative, but trust me, like, I still really enjoyed the movie and I still really liked it. I would actually go see it again if I could. I definitely do love Hiro and Joe. I think they just played Hardin and Tessa the best that they could with what the material they were given. See, the thing is I don't blame the actors or anything like that. I don't blame Anna. I don't necessarily blame the director or the script writer or whatever, but I do feel like the writing of the movie could have been better. Like, I feel like there was things that they could have told better. Like, I don't mean to sound mean about it, but I do feel like there were things they could have told better. And that's just how I feel. I am not faulting the actors because I loved the actors. I didn't like the way it was told, which sucks. But I still liked it, and I'm definitely going to rewatch it over and over again. I do think it is a decent adaptation, and that is pretty much it for my review. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions on the movie and all of that. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Try not to be too spoilery for people who obviously have yet to see the movie. That is it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.